We're back at TransForm Central, and this time we're going to click the Management Console tab. And here at Management Console, you'll see a pane has slid in here from the left, listing the form types that are available. Now notice I said form types, I didn't say forms, and there's a distinction. What we created at the beginning of this tutorial was a form type, and what we filled out on the phone was a form. So, now when I choose my form type, which is Equipment Inspection, the system is now going to show us all the times that that form was filled in. So let's click on the form here in the list to select it. Now that it's selected, you'll see the data we collected in the Form Contents pane. And here in the Actions pane, you'll see we have some choices as to what we could do with the data. We can email it, we can export it, and we could also enter comments about the form. We could also tell TransForm, now that the form has been filled out, that we don't want this submitted data to appear in the TransForm app anymore, so it doesn't clutter the view of the end user. Also, we could change the status of the form from open to submitted. This may be an important feature if you plan to use TransForm data with your system of record, like SAP or Salesforce, part of a workflow. This is also partially handled by the Permissions tab, and we'll get into that in another video. Before we leave this screen, I want to show you a feature that can make this page easier to use when you have lots of forms, and that is the Select Fields option here. When you click the Select Fields link, you can choose other columns to add to the list here on the left. For example, you might want to see the equipment ID. So we check the box next to Equipment ID, then we click the check mark up here at the top, and you'll notice that the Equipment ID now appears in the list. Alright, so we're going to end this tutorial by showing you how to invite other users to see and fill out your forms, and then we'll do a quick review. Okay, so to invite other users, we're going to go back to the Home tab, and let's take a look at these two options. Invite users to join a TransForm account, and Manage Users. We're going to choose Invite Users to Join TransForm Account. Now, the easiest way to add users is to fill in the box that appears with the email addresses of the people you would like to invite. Each email goes on a separate line. Each person will get an email with instructions and a link to sign up for TransForm. If you recall at the beginning of this tutorial, I showed you that when I logged in, I had a choice of multiple accounts. That's because I was invited by other people to use their TransForm account. So now we're going to invite other people to use your account, and we're going to do that by clicking on Manage Users. With the Manage Users section open, we're again going to add email addresses of the people we would like to invite to our account. In this case, I'm going to add my colleague Sarah. And now that I've added Sarah to my account, I'm going to tell TransForm what Sarah should and shouldn't be allowed to do in my account. To do that, we'll click on Manage User Roles. And now a table appears showing all of the users I have in my account and what their roles are, that is, what they're allowed to do. So I'm going to click on Sarah, and you'll notice that Sarah is assigned as a user. That means she could fill out forms on a mobile device. And I could assign Sarah additional roles as well by holding down the Control button and clicking on the other roles here in the list. I'll quickly explain what each of these options are. A user, like we said, is someone who can fill out forms in the TransForm app on their phone or tablet. An account administrator can add other users and set their roles. A form designer, as you may have guessed, is someone who's allowed to design new form types. And if you choose Management Console, the user will have access to the Management Console where they can review data that have been submitted. There's also a supervisor role, which can be helpful if you want to integrate TransForm with your existing workflows. And you can even add custom roles as you see fit in the Permissions tab, but we'll cover that in a different tutorial. Okay, so we've added Sarah to our account, and she can now download the TransForm app and start filling out the forms we've assigned. And that concludes the tutorial. But let's do a quick review. To begin, you set up your account and create new form types in TransForm Central, which you get to from a web browser by typing in transform.alphasoftware.com in the address bar. TransForm Central has 4 tabs: Home, Designer, Permissions, and Management Console. The Home tab is for account administration. The Designer tab is for building and editing form types. The Permissions tab is an advanced tab for creating and defining different roles, and the Management Console is for reviewing and exporting data. Now, there are more features in each one of these areas, but hopefully this tutorial is enough to get you started building new data collection apps and deploying them to your end users. For Alpha Software, I'm Dave McCormick. Thanks for watching.